Welcome back everybody. Today I'm going to be cooking a Thai pork and pineapple red curry. That's one of my favourite curries, this one, and the kids absolutely love it. First off is our pork. Now I've gone for pork shoulder steaks. I've got about 1.8 kilos there. These are 600 grams per packet, so it's quite a lot of meat. This dish will serve 8 people. It's quite a big pot. I'm cooking for 4, and I do what I always do. I shall freeze the rest into plastic containers and use it another time. So you could use duck if you didn't want to use pork. You could even use chicken, but it's more for a richer meat to go with the pineapple, so pork or duck. So we've got a nice large pineapple there. I've got some fish sauce, some oyster sauce and some light soy sauce. I've got palm sugar, I'm going to be using a couple of tablespoons of that. I've got 2 tins of coconut milk, 1 fresh lime, and I've got 8 bird's eye red chillies. Now if you don't want it spicy, you could leave those out or just put 1 or 2 in, but I like it spicy. It's like a sweet spicy dish. It's really nice. That's our red curry paste. That's 200 grams. I'm going to be using all that. I've got around 200 grams of cherry tomatoes as well. They're going to go in. 1 mug full of basmati rice. So you can use jasmine or basmati if you like. As I said, if you were going to cook for 8 people, you'd need 2 mugs of this probably. As I'm only cooking for 4, 1 mug of rice will do. Curry's going to be cooked in there. Rice is going to be cooked in there. I've got some sea salt, some olive oil, and I've got 4 little bunches of my favourite Thai basil. You don't have to use that much if you don't want, but I love the taste of that, the aniseed flavour. It's a big pot of curry. That's going to go right in at the end when the heat's been turned off. So I'm going to go ahead now and I'm going to start cutting this pork up into bite-sized chunks. Wash the tomatoes, cut them in half and pick off the basils. Not much preparation to do on this one. So yeah, I'm going to get on with that. Well, before I do anything, I'm going to get my rice soaking. So 1 mug of rice, cover it with cold water, and that can sit there for about half an hour while I prepare everything else. So that's that. Right, I've cut up my pork. I'll put that back in the fridge for now. I'm going to do the pineapple. So first, you want to take the top off and the bottom, so you can stand it up like that. And you want to go round with the knife, following the shape of the pineapple, and take off all the skin. I'm going to do that all the way round. Take a bit more, get those little spots off. I'm just going to go all the way around the pineapple and take all the skin off. So there is our pineapple with the skin removed. Still a few spots on there, but if I shave any more off, I'll be shaving the fruit off as well. So what I'm going to do now, cut it right down the middle, like that. And then cut it again. So it's now in quarters. And then you want to cut this woody middle piece out and get rid of that. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut it again. Then I'm going to cut it into pieces about that big. So I'm just going to get on with that. Okay, right, there is our pineapple cut up into chunks. That's our pork. I'm actually going to get it into 2 containers. It's about 1.8 kilos of pork. It's a lot of curry. There's our tomatoes. They've been washed and halved. My palm sugar, about 2 tablespoons. My lime. My coconut milk. I'll give it a stir. Put both tins into a jug. My red curry paste is in there, ready to go. My rice, soaked, rinsed, drained off, put back in the pan with some couple of pinches of sea salt and my Thai Basil, which most of it will be going in the curry right at the end. I shall save a few leaves back for some garnish. That's just got to have a rinse, so I'll leave that over there. Now, what we're going to do first, we're going to get a light under that. A little bit of olive oil, not too much. That's all we need the olive oil for, just to give this a little head start. Now you want that to start sizzling very gently. You don't want to burn it. About medium heat. And also we're going to go in with a little splash of our coconut milk. So I'm going to sizzle that away for a couple of minutes. If it starts to stick or it's sizzling too hard, turn the heat down. We just want to release all the aromas of the paste and just get it cooked through. So about 2 minutes. Right, that's had about 2 minutes sizzling away. I'm now going to add my meat. Put all the meat in there. Seems like a lot of meat, but it's a lot of curry. As I said, serves 8 people, but I should be freezing half of this so I can just enjoy it another day. Now what you want to do, keep it on a medium heat because the temperature is going to drop now. Give it a good stir around, get all that meat coated in the paste. A good old stir. At this point I'm going to go in with about a tablespoon of oyster sauce. Good quality oyster sauce, just a tablespoon. Mix that in. Now you want to stir this around for a couple of minutes on a medium heat, just heating the pork through, and then we're going to start adding some coconut milk. So a couple of minutes, keep stirring it around. So that's at about 2 minutes stirring around, all the meat is nicely coated. I'm now going to go in with about 2/3 of my coconut milk, saving a third back. And now we want to turn the heat back up, moderate. You want this to bubble away until the meat is almost cooked. And when it is almost cooked, we'll add our pineapple. So while this is coming up to the boil, then I shall turn it down a bit. Just want it bubbling away so the meat cooks. Basically you're just boiling the meat in the coconut milk and paste. While that's happening, I'm going to boil up the kettle, get some water from my rice, and I'm going to cut up my chillies because they can go in any time now. So I'm just going to get on with that, let this come to the simmer and get it bubbling away. So our pork has been bubbling away like this for about 10 minutes. So that is cooked now. I'm going to go in with about a tablespoon of fish sauce. Stir that in all the time, keep it bubbling. And then my chillies that I cut up while the pork was cooking. They go in. Stir those in. As I said before, if you don't want it spicy, leave the chillies out or just add 1 or 2 chillies. But I think it adds a nice heat, goes with the sweetness. Now, the pineapple. So, in goes all of our pineapple, apart from that bit that fell on the hob. Put that in there. Stir that in. Rinse my hands. Now give that a mix so it's all blended together. And then our palm sugar. All that palm sugar in there. So if your pineapple was slightly sour, it will just add a bit more sweetness. But the palm sugar is a necessity. So we're going to give that a mix round. We're going to let that bubble away for another 5 minutes. Now while that's on the go, we're going to start off our rice. So 1 mug of rice, 2 mugs of water. Bring that up to the boil. I'll put a couple of good pinches of sea salt in there. So you want to get that to the boil, then put the lid on, and then turn it right down, and 11-12 minutes. So I'm just going to bring that to the boil, and then turn it right down, put the lid on, and just simmer it gently for about 11 or 12 minutes until the water's absorbed. So in 5 minutes time I shall be adding my tomatoes, the rest of the coconut milk, and a good squeeze of lime juice. So let's just let this bubble away for 5 minutes. So that's been about 5 minutes. I've turned the heat down on the rice. I'm timing that for about 11 or 12 minutes. That's on a very low heat with the lid on. Now going in with my cherry tomatoes, half a lime, if there's any juice in it. Let's use the other half as well. Not much juice in that. That's it. And then the rest of our coconut milk. The other third of coconut milk. Get it all in there. There we go. And now bring this back up to a bubble, and then it'll be about another 10 minutes, and that'll be it. And then we will add our Thai basil and a splash of light soy sauce right at the end. Okay, so 10 minutes. So our curry has been bubbling away for about another 15 minutes. So the flavours have all blended together. I've now turned the heat off completely. My rice is done. A little nice fluffy basmati rice. Now there's no heat under anything. All my lovely Thai basil. Now you don't have to use this much if you don't want to. As I said before, I love the aniseed flavour. And I'm going to go with about a tablespoon of light soy sauce. Now just stir that in. As I said, there's no heat underneath. And that is it. So I'm now going to plate up and get stuck into this. So there we have it. Thai pork and pineapple red curry with fluffy basmati rice. Now that smells lovely. I can't wait to get stuck in. Of course, I'm going to be serving this with a nice cold Thai beer. Oh, yes. And there we have it. Don't forget to subscribe and give us a thumbs up as well. Enjoy.